ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Martorelli Stadium for tonight's quarterfinal playoff game in which the North Hills Indians at 9-0-1 will square off against the Central Catholic Vikings at 6-2-2. This is Jeff McKinley, along with my partner for this evening, Dave Rosnetta, a junior and former football player who will replace Dave Popelka, who is currently on a short vacation. Dave, thank you for joining me tonight, and it's a pleasure to have you with me.
Well, thank you, Jeff. I just hope I can live up to the standards set by Dave.
Tonight's game in which the Indians play the Central Catholic Vikings is quite a coincidence, since last year the Indians took on the Vikings in the same situation, the first round of the WPIAL playoffs, in which the Indians won 36-0.
Well, there's also a coincidence in the fact the North Hills could go through the playoffs exactly like they did last year.
That would be facing Central Catholic first, possibly North Allegheny next week, and Mount Lebanon in the championship if all those factors come together in which all the teams win. Dave, what are keys for tonight's game for the Indians and for Central Catholic?
Well, obviously, North Hills has to have their passing game in sync tonight. That is how they win football games. And if Jeff, his arm's in fine-tuning, I'm sure they'll be getting the points on the board. For Central's place, they definitely need their running game to be in sync. That is their claim to fame. And if they can break through the North Hills defense, they could pull the upset.
The Central Catholic running game is led by their running back, Jamie Lakota. Lakota has done a tremendous job for Central Catholic, and it will be up to the Indians to shut him down for them to win this evening. North Hills will be receiving the opening kickoff. Kick will go from left to right. Back to receive for the Indians, number 88, Jason Bender, and 33, Dwayne Hitchcock. Kicking off for Central Catholic, it appears to be number 61, excuse me. And we're underway. A long kick taken by Jason Bender at the 10-yard line. Jason goes up the middle and is hit hard. Taken down at the North Hills 27-yard line. It appears that he was clotheslined, taken down by his neck at the 27 after a hard hit. Starting intense already for this first playoff game.
Definitely, that's the kind of moves you only see in the WWF Wrestling Federation right there. But Jason appears to be okay, and that's all that really matters.
Tonight, starting for the Indians, will be quarterback Jeff Bender, along with running backs Dwayne Hitchcock, Tim Redshaw, and Brian Hinneleiter. The wideout is Jason Bender, number 88, who is out wide to the left currently. Jeff Bender drops back. He's looking to pass on first down, and the pass is batted at the line of scrimmage.
Number 68 on that play did exactly what defensive linemen are supposed to do. If they can't get in to sack the quarterback, their job is to jump up in the air and deflect the pass. Exactly what was done.
Also starting tonight for the Indians are T.J. Schmidt at end, who just came out and was replaced by P.J. Morelli. Matt Voppel at guard, Jim Lash, Brian McLaughlin, Mark Lasky, and Mark Schmidt make up the rest of the offensive line. Excuse me, Craig Heinauer, not Mark Schmidt. Jeff Bender back to pass once again. He's facing pressure, and he runs out to his left, loses the ball, and he's knocked down. The ball is recovered by Central at the North Hills 35-yard line. North Hills offense gives up the ball as Central's offense comes onto the field.
What seemed there is it seemed just like Jeff was totally bewildered on the play. He thought the pocket closed about him, lost his cool, and in trying to scramble for some yardage, coughed up the football.
That brings up the North Hills defense. Central has great field position now, and they'd be looking to score right off the bat, get some momentum going, which is definitely what they need against the Indians. McDermott hands off to number 22, Jamie Lakota.
Well, about that last play, Jeff, that's exactly what a team doesn't want to do, is commit turnovers. That's how you win football games. The team that, in the end of the game, the team that's made the less turnovers usually wins. North Hills not off to a good start right in the early goings of the game. 2 nd and 10. 2nd 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 and 10. 2
Ron McDermott calling the signals for Central Catholic. Handoff goes to number 22 once again. He has a big hole and he runs through for a gain of about 8 yards, close to a first down at about the North Hills 24-yard line.
At that time, the Vikings just came off the ball. They took the North Hills defensive lineman right out of the play, opening such a wide hole that number 22 was able to get outstanding yardage.
Starting offense for Central tonight, Turner at split end, across the line, Hess, Moore, Kerr, Todd Orlando, Alex Pampina, and Jason Nigurski. Handoff once again up the middle, gain of about 4 yards for Central that time. Driven backwards by several North Hills players, including Steve Wiley and number 43, Tim Redshaw. Dave Goodworth, excuse me.
And the key for the games, we did feel that it was to the Vikings' advantage to run the football. And the early goings, yes, they are running the football and getting exceptionally good yardage.
That brings up a second down and about 6 for Central Catholic on the North Hills 20-yard line. McDermott looking to pass, facing pressure by Greg Smyers. McDermott managed to get back to the line of scrimmage, possibly gaining a yard, tackled by Redshaw. Also Jim Lash on the tackle, number 77, the big defensive lineman for North Hills. Excited crowd already chanting defense for North Hills. McDermott back to pass again in the pocket, closes quick on him. Nowhere to go, and Mark Lasky sacks him. McDermott managed to get back to about the line of scrimmage, but he was wrapped up there for a sack by number 63, Mark Lasky.
That time, the defensive lineman, along with the linebackers, closed down the Viking pocket. Number 10, a quarterback, was forced to scramble for the football, in which case number 63, Mark Lasky for North Hills, was right there to make the sack. That's just how you'd like the play written up.
Brings up a fourth down for Central and about 4 yards to go. Central calls a timeout. Timeout charge to North Hills. North Hills starting defense has Mark Lasky, Matt Voppel, Jim Lash, and Dave Goodworth across the line. Tim Redshaw, Smyers, Jeff Smithcone, Steve Wiley are the linebackers. Defensive backs Chris Helen, Jason Benner, Jeff Merlino. McDermott back to pass on both times, sacked once again. Lasky, Garrett Brown, and other defensive linemen right in the face of McDermott to bring him down. North Hills will have the ball.
It almost seems that Central Catholic should have stayed with their running game, because obviously passing game is not working up well against the North Hills sturdy defense.
That brings on the North Hills offense. Jason Bender out wide to the left. Jeff Bender calls the signals. Tim Redshaw in the backfield takes the handoff, bounces off of one tackle and goes up the middle. Gain of 1 yard for Redshaw.
Number 44, Tim Redshaw, is a big hulking kid. He's a power back, fullback. And that's exactly where they want to run him, right up the gut like that. That's where he can get his most yardage.
He runs right up the middle on the Central defense. However, they have a very strong defensive line led by their nose tackle. Jeff Bender looking to pass on second down, throwing for Dwayne Hitchcock on the sidelines, batted by the defensive back, number 25. Number 25 is Jamie Lakota. I believe I mixed up his number earlier.
Jamie Lakota is a halfback, outstanding halfback for the Vikings offense. And because of his exceptional speed, he was able to keep up with Dwayne Hitchcock. He was in the exact position to deflect the ball and did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Spread right formation for North Hills. Jeff Bender looking to pass again. Throws to Jason Bender off Jason's hands. Ball bounced off Jason's hands at approximately the North Hills 38-yard line.
Jeff might have just put a little bit too much zip on the pass. Jason was open going across the middle, and like I said, just maybe a little bit too much zip.
Especially for a cold night like tonight, it's more difficult to catch a hard pass like that when the weather gets down in the 40s and 30s as it is tonight. With 4th down and 9 yards to go, Jason Bender comes on to punt for the Indians. Bender gets off a punt, a nice long spiral punt taken at the 40 by number 34 of Central Catholic. In a good open field tackle by number 32, Fred Thomas. Fred Thomas, special teams expert for North Hills, makes the tackle at the Central Catholic 48-yard line.
Well, Fred's a new player this year, and despite his inexperience, that was an all-pro move right there. Beautiful open field tackle, exactly what he was supposed to do.
McDermott drops back to pass on 1st down and 10, looking to the sidelines in the flat, thrown to number 81, incomplete. Gain of 3 yards for Central Catholic on the play. Number 34 comes into the game, Pat Walsh for Central Catholic. Second down and 7 yards to go for Central. Handoff goes to number 22, Mike Kopelu. Fumble. North Hills has the ball at the 29-yard line. A man is down on the field. It appears to be the ball carrier, Kopelu. North Hills has the ball. Despite a penalty flag, the penalty went against Central. North Hills with the ball.
You have to wonder in that instance if number 22 for the Vikings didn't get so excited on seeing that open field that his grip on the ball became extremely loose. He had a chance to gain outstanding yardage here, but one slip-up cost him the ball and possibly a touchdown.
Second turnover of the game, one for North Hills, one for Central Catholic. North Hills offense 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Dwayne Hitchcock around the left side. Dwayne picks up about 5 yards, getting to the North Hills 34-yard line.
If you pay close attention to the North Hills offensive scheme, you're going to see them using Dwayne to the outside a great deal. Dwayne is probably the fastest back on the North Hills squad, and that's where they can best utilize his speed. So as I said, you're going to see him going around the left and right ends quite a great deal.
Second down and 5 for North Hills now. Jason Bender out wide to the left. Spread left formation for North Hills, ball on the left hash mark. Handoff goes to Hitchcock around the left side again, gets some nice blocking and has a hole. Gets out to about the Central Catholic 49-yard line where he was run out of bounds by number 25, Jamie Lakota, along with number 21, Bob Bianchi.
Well, it says my words, giving the North Hills team a little bit of good luck, because exactly what they did. They came back running the same play, got extremely great amount of yardage on that. Again, Dwayne's speed just burning every other player on the Viking team.
Picking up about 17 yards on the carry, Dwayne Hitchcock got down to the Central Catholic 47-yard line, where the Indians have a 1st down. Jeff Bender back to pass on 1st down, throwing to Brian Hinterleiter off Hinterleiter's fingers, and Jason Bender had a second chance to catch that ball as he was right behind Hinterleiter.
Seems like there might have been a little bit of miscue on that play. Brian or Jason might have been out of position because they were exactly behind each other. They became confused as to who was going to receive the ball and broke it up themselves.
Come on, Brian.
Trips formation for North Hills. Dwayne Hitchcock and Brian Hinterleiter on the right side of the line. Jason Bender out wide to the right. Jeff Bender looking to pass, throwing for Hinterleiter, overthrown by a few yards. Hinterleiter was wide open at about the Central 20-yard line. Jeff Bender threw it a little too strong.
Just as we said, Dwayne is one of the fastest players on the team. Brian's not very far behind him. And although he's of short stature, he's still extremely burning speed. That time he was wide open. If Jeff would have thrown the ball a few yards shorter, Brian would have been in for the score.
TJ Schmidt back in at tight end for PJ Morelli. Spread right formation. Brian Hinterleiter goes in motion to the right side. The handoff goes to Dwayne Hitchcock, who's going around the left side. Gets maybe a yard to the 46. Brings up a 4th down for North Hills and looks like they'll have to punt with 8 yards to go for a 1st down.
On that play, the Vikings seemed ready for Dwayne around the end, and the linebacker, outside linebacker, did what his job was, and that was to come up, prevent Dwayne from getting to the outside, and make the tackle. Jason Bender's back to punt. Low snap, but nevertheless gets the ball off. Low kick, out of bounds, about the 20.
So with Bender's low kick taking it, going out of bounds at about the 20, Central Catholic deep in their own territory this time, the deepest they've been all game due to some key plays earlier. Ball spotted about the 21-yard line, where Central's offense comes onto the field to take over with a 1st and 10. TJ Schmidt in at safety for North Hills. Now handoff goes to number 20, Mike Kompalou. Picks up about 2 or 3 yards getting to the 25-yard line, the 24. Second down and 7 yards to go for the Vikings. Ball on their own 24. Kompalou at tailback. Handoff goes to Mike Kompalou. Takes it around the left side looking for some yardage. Doesn't get much as he was wrapped up on a fine play by North Hills linebacker Jeff Smithko.
In that instance, Jeff did his job just as the Vikings had done a few plays earlier. As number 22 ran to the outside, Jeff stepped up, prevented the play from going to the outside, and made the tackle.
Face mask was called on the last play. It moved Central Catholic up for a 1st down as the penalty was against North Hills. 1st down for the Vikings at their own 43-yard line. End around play going to number 83, the wide receiver. He has room on the sideline. He's finally knocked out of bounds by number 44, Tim Redshaw, at approximately the 37-yard line of North Hills. Big pickup. Carry on the play by Morris Turner, the split end for Central Catholic.
The reason that play worked was because of the interference ran by number 56 and number 51 from the Vikings. They got out in front of that play. They took out most of the North Hills linebackers and defensive linemen, causing a clear lane right up the field.
Another 1st down for Central Catholic. Handoff goes to Mike Kompalou, tries to take it off guard or off tackle on the right side. Pickup of about 3 yards. Gets to the 34-yard line of North Hills. 2nd down and 7 for Central.
The reason that play didn't work for the Vikings was because number 43, Dave Goodworth for North Hills, closed down the hole. The running back had nowhere to go, and the linebackers came up and made the tackle.
Dave Goodworth has been playing extremely well the past couple games that he has been starting. Promoted to starting role about 3 games ago. Has been playing extremely well. McDermott chased out of the pocket by Mark Lasky and Greg Smyers, then wrapped up on a hard hit by Jeff Smithko. Smithko drilled McDermott at the 30-yard line, and the ball was fumbled. However, it was recovered by Central about 2 yards behind where McDermott actually went down. Smithko really stuck it to McDermott that time.
That's just hard-nosed football. That's what every defensive coach wants to see in their players. A hit so hard that the opposing player is going to fumble the ball.
That's exactly what Mr. Nauman, the defensive coordinator for North Hills, tries to instill into his players. A lot of aggressiveness and hard hitting. That's the pride of North Hills, their defense.
The symbol for the North Hills defense is the skull and crossbone, and that play shows you why.
Delay play, handed off to the fullback, number 30. Gain of about a half a yard, not much on the play. No room for the fullback to go at all. Brings up 4th down and 3 for Central. They have some decisions to make here as they call a timeout. 4th down and 3 for Central, and they try to go. They had a similar situation earlier in this game in which the quarterback was sacked on a good penetration by the North Hills defensive line. This time they're trying to go for it. Handoff goes to Mike Kompalou up the middle, has a big hole. Finally, a tackle made by number 33, Dwayne Hitchcock, who goes in at linebacker for the North Hills Indians. Hitchcock tackled Kompalou at approximately the 19-yard line of the North Hills Indians. I'd say they're pretty close to field goal range now. In the way the offense has been running, they might not have to settle for 3. They could push it into the end zone.
Exactly, and how they're getting this great yardage is through their running game. Exactly what Mr. McCurry said himself is their claim to fame.
Number 22, Mike Kompalou, takes the handoff up the middle.
The North Hills linebackers and defensive linemen seem to be getting totally blocked out of the plays right now because the Viking offensive line is opening tremendous holes in the middle, causing running backs such as Lakota and number 22, Mike Kompalou, to get excessive amounts of yardage.
Number 30 in at fullback. It appears as if the Central Catholic Vikings were going to pass. The end of the first quarter has no score, 0-0 with the Indians playing the Central Catholic Vikings. With the score 0-0, it appears that both teams are struggling a little, although Central Catholic's offense is coming alive here to start the second quarter, which momentum should carry in. What do you think is happening out there right now, the fact that there's no score?
Well, you can't really place too much emphasis on the scoreless first quarter. Right now, both teams are feeling themselves out, trying to see what's going to work best for them. And right now, the Vikings are proving their great ability in running the football, while North Hills using their passing ability. Right now, unfortunately, for the North Hills team, the Vikings are threatening for 6 points.
Third down and 1 for Central. Ball at the North Hills 10-yard line. North Hills defense must toughen up here in their territory. Handoff goes to the fullback, number 30. It appears that he has enough for the first down, although he doesn't get a lot of yardage. Dennis Hanley, number 30 on the carry for Central. Number 81, Bill Westmore, leaves the game. He's replaced by number 34, Pat Walsh.
Garrett Bryan, number 72, comes in for number 77, Jim Lash, for the North Hills defense.
I formation. Handed off to number 34, Walsh around the left side, has some room. And a nice block by number 66 of Central Catholic. Touchdown Central in North Hills, down 6-0. Just a minute and a half into the second quarter of action.
Well, the Vikings early on are establishing themselves as a hard-nosed football team. Right there, the offensive line had North Hills blocked out. The only player that could have made the play was number 21, in which case Jeff Merlino, but number 61 for the Vikings came out and took him right out of the play. Oh, excuse me, that was number 66.
66 for Central Catholic was Sean Moore, who threw the key block in that touchdown run by Walsh. The extra point was good for Central Catholic. They now lead 7-0 with 2:49 remaining in the second half, or the second quarter of action. Central Catholic will now kick off, kicking to Dwayne Hitchcock and Jason Bender for the Indians. A long kick takes Jason Bender all the way back to his 3-yard line, where he takes the ball up the middle. Some good hard running, but once again he was hammered as he crossed the 20 and got to the 21-yard line. Central Catholic is really fired up now.
Well, that's exactly what a score does for a team. North Hills last year with their dream team, this year still doing exceptionally well. Every team in Quad A is gunning for North Hills. No team wants them to repeat last year's awesome victories.
First and 10 North Hills. Redshaw in the backfield. Spread left formation. Jeff Bender looking to pass, throwing across the middle to Brian Hittleiter, tipped by the defensive back, number 25, Jamie Lakota. Lakota with a great defensive play.
Jamie Lakota is only 5'8", but he can sure jump. He got into that air, put his arm up, and brought that ball down. Because if he hadn't done that, the pass would have been right into number 35, Brian Hittleiter's hands, and he had a chance to score.
Hittleiter ran a nice pattern, showing some speed as he cut across the middle there, breaking away from the defensive backs. Jason Bender out wide to the left. Dwayne Hitchcock in the slot on the left side. Jeff Bender drops back looking to pass to his left. Chased out of the pocket to the right side. Plans on keeping the ball and gets to the 25-yard line where he's knocked out of bounds. A flag goes down, probably a late hit on Central.
Just something unnecessary, unsportsmanlike conduct indeed. Jeff Bender was clearly out of bounds, and the Vikings player had to get in that one more shot. Just unnecessary.
As we correctly called the penalty, the ball is moved forward to the 40-yard line of North Hills. First down for the Indians. Redshaw in the backfield, Hitchcock out to the right, Jason to the left. Jeff Bender sacked and he fumbles the ball, coughed up. It appears that Central recovered. Central Catholic does indeed have the ball at the 37-yard line of North Hills, recovered by number 73, Mike DeMassey. DeMassey quick to jump on that fumble.
Number 71 totally beat his man. His off the ball was into the North Hills backfield before Jeff Bender had taken a few steps. Slammed so hard into Jeff as well that he fumbled the ball, and now the Vikings have the ball back. And the Vikings are playing football the way football is meant to be played. They are making the North Hills team cough up the football, giving themselves excellent field position and numerous possibilities to score.
Central in an eye flanker position, hand off to number 22, Mike Kompalou, goes up the middle for a gain of 4 yards. Right now, the battle at the line of scrimmage being won by the Central Catholic Vikings. They're just powering their way forward, giving the running backs a lot of room to carry the ball.
That's surprising as well because the Vikings' offensive line is not very big. North Hills has some extremely large defensive linemen, but nevertheless, the Vikings are holding their own.
Handoff goes to Kompalou again on the left side. Scampers forward for an extra few yards after he was hit by Steve Wiley. Finally tackled by 21 Jeff Merlino at the North Hills 28-yard line.
Mike Kompalou looked like Rocky Blau out there. He was hit, spun off the tackle, and kept going. Because in this game, every yard counts.
Number 33 for Central goes in motion. Pitch back goes to Kompalou and a flag's down on the play. Wrapped up by several North Hills Indians on the left side taken back to the 30-yard line. Dave Goodworth on the tackle for North Hills along with Jeff Merlino. Legal procedure called against the Central Catholic Vikings. Moves the ball back 5 yards, bringing up third down and about 8 yards to go now. Hopefully that takes away a little of Central's momentum. They are getting a lot of momentum, playing very intense now. North Hills has to avoid getting down by too much early on.
There's nothing that takes more wind out of a team's sails than to have penalties. You're driving, you get a penalty, it's negative yardage. That's something that no team wants to have.
Come on, D. Put a rush on it.
McDermott drops back to pass, taking a big drop back and hit by number 72 as he released the ball. Garrett Brown hit him. Mike Kompalou was able to come up with the pass. A flag goes down after Kompalou took the ball to the 29-yard line of North Hills.
That was a miraculous reception by number 22, Mike Kompalou, and by the quarterback for the Vikings. Garrett Brown was ready to sack Ron McDermott. He got that pass off so quickly. Tim Redshaw was right in coverage, but nevertheless was unable to make the interception. Great reception by Mike. Great yardage. On top of that, there's a penalty, unsportsmanlike conduct, giving the Vikings even more yardage.
You mentioned the penalties taking the wind out of the sails of Central. This puts everything right back into Central that they had before, all that energy. Handoff goes to number 30, Dennis Hanley, up the middle. Hanley picks up about 4 yards. 7 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the first half. With the ball on the 9-yard line, Central faces second down and 6 yards to go. I flanker formation for Central Catholic. Kompalou in the backfield takes the handoff to the right side off tackle. Tackled after a gain of 2, maybe 3 yards. Good play by Dave Goodworth and Steve Wiley.
A point to make is something I find strange is we're not seeing Jamie Lakota as much as we thought we would. We're seeing Mike Kompalou a great deal more. But nevertheless, it's having a positive effect on the Viking team. Mike's running extremely well.
The only time we've seen Jamie Lakota has come up with 2 big plays so far on defense from his cornerback position. Central Catholic calls a timeout with 6 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the first half.
Really getting into the game, and that's one great advantage of of being in our home field. But nevertheless, the Vikings have a great amount of people on their sideline as well.
McDermott calls the signals. Looks like an I flanker formation once again for Central. Handoff goes to Mike Kompalou up the middle. It looks like he's close to a touchdown. Touchdown Central Catholic. Indians down by 13 now.
This is unheard of in North Hills history. North Hills has always been a team that could shut down the run, especially last year. They had a front wall that was indestructible. Now, the Vikings are tearing them apart, running right up the middle, and that's where they're getting your yardage. It seems like the North Hills team is just not into this game. And as well, the extra point is good. It's now 14-0 Central Catholic.
Kevin McClung, number 61, on the kick for Central Catholic. McClung, a defensive lineman with big, powerful legs. He drills another shot down to the North Hills end, taken by Dwayne Hitchcock. Hitchcock goes straight up the middle, gets the ball out to the 31-yard line where North Hills will take over.
That was a very adequate return there. On most kick returns, it's considered quite good if you get up to the 20-yard line. In that case, Dwayne got up to the 30-yard line. It's a good play, very good play.
Only 6:20 remains in this first half. A very quick first half, mainly due to the running. Central Catholic had the ball a long time, and they ran down the clock, pounding it away up the middle every time they had it. Dwayne Hitchcock runs to his left, ran backwards looking for somewhere to turn upfield, had nowhere to go and was stopped in the backfield. Good play by number 26.
Again, this is extremely amazing for the North Hills team. Their blocking is falling apart. The Vikings are getting deep penetration into the backfield, and in that time, Dwayne didn't have a chance to utilize his extreme speed. There were 3 or 4 defenders around him.
Big loss, 7 yards, brings up 2nd down and 17 for the Indians. Passing formation for North Hills, 3 men out to the right side. They hand off up the middle, hoping to catch Central off guard. Tim Redshaw gains only a yard. Good read by Central Catholic. Mike DeMacy coming up with another play. Earlier, DeMacy recovered the fumble, which later led to a Central Catholic touchdown, the first touchdown Central scored this evening.
To bring up Tim Redshaw again, last Saturday, Tim ran 13 times and gained 78 yards. He's a power fullback, but so far tonight, he's been ineffective.
Bender passes, screen pass to Jason Bender, split end position. Bender has room to run. He gets all the way down to out to the 35-yard line of North Hills. Bring up about a 4th down and 5.
That brings up a good point about Jason. This kid is extremely athletic. He's a place kicker, a punter, tight end, and safety on defense. He has a great chance of gaining a college scholarship. Extremely great hands, and also returns kickoffs. This kid does it all and has a great future for himself.
Jason Bender now on the punt, gets a short punt, bounces it to 35-yard line of Central, taken by Pat Walsh, who slips as he started to get his momentum going. Flag goes down on the play. Appear to be some North Hills players upset. Maybe a call against North Hills.
This is a point that we haven't brought up. The field is very torn up right now. They've played some 10-odd games on this field, and it's very muddy. It has rained earlier today, and now there is some slippery conditions. Not that big of a factor, but it's there nevertheless. Unfortunately now for the North Hills team, they've had a face mask penalty against them. Exactly something they don't want to do, which they're doing, Jeff.
You can tell by the crowd's reaction. Everybody upset by that call, very surprised that it was called. They had Walsh, who had room to run, slip at his own 34-yard line, apparently giving them only average field position. Now they get the ball close to the 50 as the handoff goes to number 30, Dennis Hanley up the middle, who gets to the North Hills 49-yard line. North Hills must eliminate these mistakes in order to come back. Otherwise, they're going to be down by too much at halftime, and a totally unsurmountable lead will face them as they go into the second half.
Well, exactly, Jeff. It's penalties and turnovers which are killing the North Hills team. And right there, outstanding catch. Outstanding. Made by number 83. Number 83. Morris Turner. He took the ball right off number 82, Chris Helen. Outstanding offensive play.
However, a flag was down. Turner apparently pushed off of Helen before he went to catch that ball. The call, offensive interference, bringing the ball back to midfield where they will mark off a penalty against Central. Fortunate for North Hills, otherwise Central would have had the ball pretty deep in North Hills territory.
Yeah, somewhere around the 20, and that seems how the ball was taken off the defensive player. by pushing off. Something you don't want to do.
You mentioned Central Catholic's good support tonight in the fans. They started to boo. Could hear them on this side of the field, almost overpowering the North Hill side. McDermott calls the signals. 3rd down and about 25 yards to go. Call it 23. Kompolu goes up the middle. Good hit put on him by number 3, TJ Schmidt. Also on the tackle, Dave Goodworth, number 43. Punt team comes on for Central with a 4th down and about 20 yards to go.
The 3rd down play, it gained some yardage, but was ill used for such a situation of long yardage, bringing up a punting situation. Bad punt, bad.
Morris Turner shanked the kick, taken by an upback, number 21, Jeff Merlino, who's down at his own 42-yard line. Indians offense comes onto the field. Crowd trying to come alive to get some enthusiasm going among these North Hills players who are extremely dead tonight.
Let's go, North Hill. Oh, let's go. Come on. Come on, let's go.
Exactly, Jeff. The crowd's getting into it, and that's exactly what North Hills needs. But Viking crowd is also answering them right back.
Jeff Bender passes to Brian Hinneleiter on a short pass. Flag down on the play.
This game's getting sloppy now. We're too many turnovers, too many penalties. It's turning into pandemonium out there. And it also seems like this is a battle of the fans as well.
It looks like they're trying to see who can accumulate the most penalty yardage right now as another flag goes down. Appears that it'll be against North Hills. Taken back about 15 yards against the Indians for an illegal block. Offensive interference called against the Indians. Brings up 2nd down, about 25 yards to go for North Hills. End around to number 3, TJ Schmidt, who breaks a few tackles, picks up about 5-6 yards to about the 34-yard line. Nice run by TJ.
You have to realize that before being made into a tight end, TJ was a halfback. But nevertheless, a knee injury kept him out for the majority of this season. He's coming back. He's coming back strong, subbing in for P.J. Morelli, and his speed made that play work.
That's one thing. TJ adds more speed to the North Hills lineup. Like they really need it with Dwayne Hitchcock and Brian Hinneleiter in there. TJ just gives them even more, and it's almost impossible for a team to shut down that kind of speed when you get those 3 in there together. Jeff Bender is sacked as he was looking to pass on 3rd down. Strong hit put on Bender by number 88 of Central.
Again, this is something that is not synonymous with the North Hills team. The offensive line breaking down, sacks. You don't see this much in the games, but nevertheless, tonight, I don't know, it must be this playoff season in cold weather playing havoc with the North Hills team.
It was Jason Nagurski on the sack for Central Catholic. He, along with Mike DeMassey, excellent defensive line. Jason gets off a nice punt this time. Fair catch called by Pat Walsh, number 34, taking it at his 33-yard line. 1st down for Central Catholic. 1:11 remains in the first half. 1st down and 10 for Central. Handoff goes to Kompolu up the middle. Breaks a tackle and gets out to the 41-yard line. Nice run by Kompolu to pick up 7 yards. Good second effort by Mike Kompolu.
As that was a good second effort, we also had some poor performance here in the linebackers. Number 44, Tim Redshaw, made the tackle, but it should have been a tackle made some 7 yards earlier. Just something, again, something we're not used to seeing from the North Hills squad. It seems like all their trademarks are breaking down tonight.
Possibly a lack of intensity. Handoff to 22, Mike Umpalu goes up the middle and cuts to the right side, gets another 7 yards. Central Catholic calls a timeout with about 30 seconds remaining. First down for Central at the 47-yard line. McDermott drops back looking to pass to his left. Flushed out of the pocket. Tackle made by Mark Lasky as McDermott crossed the line and picked up a yard.
That was almost a covered sack there. Number 10.
Ron McDermott.
Number 10, Ron McDermott, looked down the field, saw no one open, and was forced to race out of the pocket, gaining only a yard.
That brings it close to the first half of action. Central Catholic surprisingly leading by the score of 14-0 as the teams go into the locker room. Hopefully, for North Hills, they will get some inspiration from their coach, Jack McCurry.